Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, tune in to hear first-hand accounts from colleagues of the officer who tragically lost his life in a Tennessee shootout.
Plus, stay tuned for some hot takes from students around the Ole Miss campus. These stories and more coming up. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Walker Farmer.
And I'm Olivia Wright.
Sorry about my voice today, but I will try my best to push through. In the wake of a tragic shootout with two teenagers, the Memphis Police Department mourns the loss of one of their own, Officer Joseph McKinney, who died in the line of duty on Friday morning. Reporter Bria Bolden speaks with grieving colleagues about this recent loss.
Officer Joseph McKinney, remembered as a dedicated man, friend, father, and servant to his community.
This is the worst thing that can happen to a police department, a police officer, you know, our co-workers, is to lose a colleague in the line of duty, especially in this manner.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says Officer McKinney died in the line of duty Friday morning after a shootout between police, 18-year-old Jalen Lobley, and a 17-year-old. Lobley was arrested by MPD last month for allegedly stealing a vehicle and having a prohibited weapon, a gun with a Glock switch, a federal offense. Court records obtained by Action News 5 show Lobley was originally issued a $10,000 bail amount by Judicial Commissioner Michelle Alexander Best. 2 days later, Judicial Commissioner Chris Ingram recommended Lobley should be released on his own recognizance with conditions.
It's very frustrating to the police when we get out there and we put ourselves in harm's way like this and take these criminals off the street just to see them back out 2, 3, 4 days later.
Memphis Police Association President Sergeant Matt Cunningham is not the only one who shares that frustration. Interim Memphis Police Chief CJ Davis does too.
When we arrest individuals that have demonstrated violence and that they will do harm to our community, we want systems that work for us.
Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy says his office was, quote, actively prioritizing the Lobley case, identifying him as a high-risk offender. He goes on to say, quote, even though Lobley was a first-time offender, his case had been accepted for federal prosecution. The DA also says his office argued against a lower bond. Lobley died in Friday's shooting.
Outside of this uniform, I'm a community member. And if I know someone has committed a violent crime in my community, I want to know that our system works to make sure that that individual can't commit another violent crime on another individual. I stay victim focused these days, and today the victim happens to be one of my officers.
Also, don't know how Mackenzie ended up right beside me earlier, but it's okay. Today's show, we're just going to keep pushing through. The city's mayor is calling for the offenders to be held accountable, even if they are teens.
It's been a pleasant day in Oxford with some sunshine breaking through the clouds.
Which is a nice change of pace from the recent rain we've been having.
Definitely, and with temperatures just right, let's take a quick look at our weather with our weather anchor, Mackenzie Cox.
Well, you've already seen a little bit of me today, but it's currently 76 degrees. We've had some cloudy skies outside today, so it has made that heat feel a little bit more bearable, but the warmer temperatures will be continuing for the rest of the week. 1% chance of precipitation, light and variable winds, about 7 miles per hour, but stay tuned for the latest in news and weather.
And get ready to tune in as our own reporter, Garyana Williams, gathers the latest opinions circulating around the campus by asking students for their current hot takes.
As the deadline to file your tax return with the IRS comes closer. However, if you still owe income tax for last year, there are options available to you before facing penalties for non-filing. Ivan Rodriguez unveils the crucial tips for necessary for this upcoming tax season. Coming up, we dive into a former president's hush money case, kicking off the first of 4 criminal trials. Plus, at least 7 were killed in an Australian mall stabbing. We have that and more after the break. NewsWatch Ole Miss will be right back.
Hey, Mississippi.
Hey, Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Because picking up litter costs us time
and money.
MDOT spends $3.2 million a year picking up litter.
That's money that could be used to maintain roads and bridges,
patch potholes,
and focus on improving Mississippi's infrastructure.
Please help us help you.
We can't do it without you.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
We're here when you're ready.
Mom, I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuff.
Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
In the courtroom, and all morning so far, the judge and the prosecution have been going back and forth about what evidence will be allowed during the trial. This is what they have to do before they get to the jury selection. Ultimately, the jury will decide the fate of Trump, although he'll be playing to a jury of millions as he continues to cast the trial as a political attack in the middle of a presidential campaign. Former President Donald Trump is on trial, charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about.
Trump has pleaded not guilty and denied the allegations.
This is an assault on America. Nothing like this has ever happened before.
Prosecutors say Trump tried to cover up hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels in order to silence her about a sexual encounter she says she had with him in 2006, which Trump denies. Prosecutors are expected to argue it was all part of a broader scheme to influence the 2016 election. Hundreds of New Yorkers will report for jury duty this morning, but picking the right jurors won't be simple. 12 men and women, plus 6 alternates, will ultimately decide Trump's fate. Jurors will answer a 42-question survey as both sides try to spot signs of bias. Both prosecutors and the defense want to know where jurors get their news. If they ever worked for the Trump Organization, they'll be asked if they support or are members of the Proud Boys and other groups. The trial is expected to include testimony from witnesses including Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, and former White House staffers Hope Hicks and Kellyanne Conway. Trump has been sitting alongside his lawyers, passing notes and whispering with them as the prosecution and the judge go back and forth. All of this is just one of the first few steps before we can get started here. Whether Trump can go to prison or not, if he is convicted, remains an open question. And still, the Constitution does not prohibit a convicted felon from serving in the White House. We're in Lower Manhattan. I'm Gloria Pasmino. Back to you.
The FBI and U.S. Coast Guard are leading a criminal investigation into the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. According to a U.S. official, the agencies are looking into whether the crew of the Dali failed to report an earlier issue that delayed its departure. The massive cargo ship lost power on March 26 and struck the bridge. The National Transportation Safety Board has been investigating why the ship lost power. Sadly, 6 people working on the bridge fell into the river and died. Now in other news, police in Sydney say at least 7 people are dead after a stabbing attack at a shopping mall. At a news conference, police said one of their officers shot and killed the attacker when he raised his knife at an officer and she opened fire. The attack occurred at Westfield Bondi Junction Shopping Center, and the scene was described as a pandemonium. 8 people, including a child, were taken to the hospital. Investigators say they're not ruling anything out when it comes to a possible motive. The retired tennis legend Serena Williams is in talks to be a new WNBA team owner. The Grand Slam champion is head of her company, Serena Ventures, that has already invested in 66 startups. Serena Ventures already had the stakes in the Angel City Soccer Club and the Los Angeles Golf Club. The WNBA may be her newest investment. A lot to look forward to this year with the WNBA, and it all starts tonight with the draft. And now in other sports news, the Olympics' biggest sponsor, Nike, is receiving a major amount of backlash over the women's outfit designs for the U.S. women's track and field Olympic team. The track and field uniforms are the 2024 Paris Olympics is a women's leotard with a high-cut bikini line. When Nike released the pictures of the uniform, it received a massive wave of criticism over social media. A spokesperson for USA Track and Field commented, saying that the collection includes 50 pieces, not just the leotard. Also, the athletes were included throughout the design process. Now, Apple saw a 10% drop in iPhone sales last quarter, due in large part to slumping sales in China. As the largest market behind the U.S., China is important to Apple. The company offers discounts there to help boost sales, but it hasn't been enough. Samsung was the world's top smartphone maker for 12 years straight, until last year when Apple briefly took the crown. But that only lasted for 1 quarter. Samsung then took the top spot back. And the clock is ticking as the deadline to file your tax return with the IRS comes closer. However, if you still owe income tax from last year, there are options available to you before facing penalties for non-filing. Ivan Rodriguez unveils the crucial tips necessary for this upcoming tax season.
Tax day is here, and if you haven't filed yet, you're not alone. But experts say if you haven't started, you may actually want to wait.
Haste makes waste. And when we rush to do things, that's when mistakes can happen. Mistakes will either cost you refunds, tax dollars, or may cause you problems from the IRS later.
Tom O'Sabin with the National Association of Tax Professionals recommends filing a 6-month extension by midnight to give you and your tax preparer the opportunity to prepare it correctly. But in order to avoid mounting penalties, O'Sabin advises it's best to send a payment to the IRS before the deadline that best approximates what you think is due. Taking a look at last year's tax return could help.
If you owe money and you don't have that postmark today, the IRS is going to charge you interest and, failure to pay penalties that are going to start assessing tomorrow.
If you're afraid you can't pay, O'Sabin says filing is still critical.
The IRS wants to work with you to get your tax obligation satisfied. And in doing that, the first thing they've got to have is the tax return.
And for those late filers who are due a refund, there are no penalties for missing the deadline and possibly some benefits.
You can wait up to 3 years after the original due date to file your return. And not only will the IRS give you your refund, they'll pay you interest on that refund.
But make sure you file before the 3 years is up. Otherwise, you forfeit your refund. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Tune in as our own reporter, Garyana Williams, gathers the latest opinions circulating around campus by asking students for their current hot takes. But first, let's check in with weather anchor for Mackenzie Cox for a look at your current conditions.
Yes, before we look at those hot takes, we'll take a look at tonight's forecast, which will be a little hotter than we're used to right now, but it should be a nice 65 degrees, cloudy skies. Precipitation will be about 11% chance, so unlikely for this evening. Winds coming in about 9 miles per hour from the south. Back to Olivia at the desk.
And thank you, Mackenzie. And now we are going to head into the package with Garyana Williams.
In spite of all of the rainy and chilly weather we had last week, students added a little heat to the forecast with their hot takes.
My hot take is that the loaded tea truck outside the Union is very overrated. And my hot take is that every bowl is better than blends.
My hot take is that I love for it to rain. I wish it would rain every single day.
My hot take is that I actually don't like the Chick-fil-A on campus, especially since it doesn't have the spicy stuff.
My hot take is McAllister's has the best food on campus.
My hot take is I think that tailgating isn't as hyped as people say it is.
Wow, some of those are pretty interesting. I might need to take a trip around campus to try some of those out. I'm Garyana Williams, NewsWatch reporter, Ole Miss.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride? Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. Let's take a look at our current temperature. Currently 76 degrees outside and cloudy skies. We've definitely felt that today. Pretty windy too, but right now that's settled down to about 7 miles per hour with some gusts a little stronger than that. Precipitation, only a 1% chance, so a nice break from all of the rain that we had last week. It's definitely will be a little bit drier in Oxford, at least for right now. A warmer day all across North Mississippi. You see mid to high 70s in this area, and then 82 in Corinth and Tupelo. Looking into tonight, will be 65 degrees, leveling off a little bit, and some of that humidity will fade as well. Cloudy skies still continuing, winds coming from the south at about 9 miles per hour. We have an 11% chance of precipitation, so moving on up, but nothing to worry about too much. I think those showers will probably hold off until later into the week. Tomorrow's forecast will be warming back up even more to 81 degrees, so it's going to start to feel almost summery. Mostly cloudy skies as we do see some movements coming in for showers later this week. Winds coming in from the south a little bit higher at 14 miles per hour. Precipitation still 6% chance, so pretty level there. And then this is some information from the National Weather Service in Memphis about the possibility for severe storms tomorrow night. So Oxford is actually in the lower risk area, but we do have a level 1 around the Memphis metro area and a level 2 moving into areas of Arkansas and the Tennessee. So we will see potentially some damaging wind here in Oxford, but nothing too much to worry about. Just be aware of your outdoor furniture, belongings, etc. And then all across the area tomorrow, warming on up, our highest 83, the highest temperature that we've really had all semester. So definitely starting to move towards those summer temperatures that we're all looking forward to. And then checking out our 5-day forecast, you can see we'll be in the 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, and then our warmest at 84 on Thursday as we start to see those storms move in for the weekend.
Thank goodness that baseball's away this weekend, because after a big series win last weekend, everyone's so excited, and then it would get rained out this weekend. That would just totally ruin everything.
On this movement.
Right? And now, Morgan Wallen is coming to town this weekend, so hopefully the weather can hold up just a little bit. He's only doing one night.
Just a little bit. One night only. Yeah.
One night, not 2 nights, because 2 nights he couldn't handle in Oxford. So hopefully the one night he just does his thing and moves on. But again, very happy that the weather's staying here and not going to Athens. Well, maybe it is going to Athens. I guess we'll find out over the weekend. Guys, and coming up, the Rebel baseball team finally breaks their losing streak versus Mississippi State, and softball gains some momentum over the weekend. I'll have that and more up next in sports.
Great having you. Incredible women. I wish they had those kind of cool careers for women when we were growing up.
So in this flashback, we're all the same age?
Yeah.
What does everyone want to be when they grow up?
If I say 2 jobs, do I get extra credit?
No.
I want to make immersive video games. I want to revolutionize 3D printing. I want to analyze data from the cloud.
I want to be a meteor.
You mean meteorologist?
No.
That's great, Al. Follow your dreams.
For the record, I was a baby in the 70s.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jason Kern with Sports Watch. For the first time since 2015, the Ole Miss baseball team secures the series win versus rival Mississippi State, taking 2 of 3 games. Friday was an ugly start as the Bulldogs handled business, winning 8-0. And then on Saturday saw a game for the ages as the Rebs evened the series with a 10-9 walk-off win in the 12th inning. And finally, on Energy Sunday, Ole Miss steamrolled State, winning 14-2 on a walk-off 3-run home run by Will Furness in the 7th. Ethan Leger added 2 home runs of his own, and Mason Nichols pitched lights out, going 6 1/3, striking out 4 in the Sunday win. It was the Rebels' largest win over the Bulldogs since April 9th, 1960. And this was also the most runs that they have put up on their rival since 2010. And after 3 straight series losses, the Ole Miss softball team secured a much-needed series win versus the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, taking 2 of 3. After a 3-0 Friday loss, the Rebels came out strong Saturday, winning 11-3 in 6 innings, and then put the nail in the coffin, winning 12-3 on Sunday. Annalise Furbush and Jamie McKay both crushed grand slams as they walked it off in 5 innings to secure the series win Sunday afternoon. Also on Sunday, pitcher Brianna Lopez earned the victory, tossing 3 innings of work. She also picked up her 300th career strikeout in the 3rd inning. They remain at home for a doubleheader versus Louisiana Tech starting Tuesday at 3 p.m. before heading to College Station to face Texas A&M over the weekend. After her 4th season at Ole Miss and a first-team All-SEC award, Ole Miss women's basketball player Madison Scott has earned an invitation to participate in the 2024 USA Women's National Team Training Camp. She is one of 17 players selected, and Scott will work to earn her chance on making the national team for the 2024 Paris Olympics coming up in Springfield, Massachusetts from April 17th to the 20th. With a standout performance in the Battle for Atlantis earning the tournament's most valuable player, Scott was named SEC Player of the Week for the first time in her career. Later on, Scott set a new career high with an impressive 27 points and 12 rebounds at Florida to once again earn her another SEC Player of the Week. In their final home match of the season, the women's tennis team fell short to the Arkansas Razorbacks 4-2 on Sunday. The Rebs had a great back-and-forth matchup versus Arkansas in doubles. Lumila Kurzova and Kelsey Mize put up a strong fight as Court 3 was forced into a tiebreak. This ended with Arkansas taking home the doubles point with a 7-5 win. They will head to Athens, Georgia to compete in the SEC Women's Tennis Tournament from April 17th to April 21st. The 10-seeded Rebels will take on the number 7 Vanderbilt Commodores at noon on Thursday, April 18th. And that's all I've got for sports. Be sure to follow us on X at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates. Now back to you, Olivia, at the desk.
Thank you, Jason. And coming up, we touch on the story of a beloved Boston pup who lost his battle with cancer. Plus, we dive into the groundbreaking archaeological findings discovered in Australia. All this after the break. NewsWatch Ole Miss will be right back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
Retriever owners gathered at Boston Common to honor Spencer, the official Boston Marathon dog who died of cancer last year. Spencer, known for carrying a Boston Strong flag for 9 years, became a symbol for resilience. The meetup included a walk and a chance for runners to meet the dog, and bandanas were sold with proceeds supporting canine cancer research. And in other news, paleontologists from Flinders University in South Australia recently uncovered complete fossil skeletons at Lake Callabona in South Australia. These ancient kangaroos, while resembling modern counterparts, were notably more muscular, with some reaching heights of up to 6.5 feet. With these recent findings, scientists estimate that these giant kangaroos became extinct approximately 40,000 years ago. And with that, that's all that we have for tonight. Tune in tomorrow. I'm Olivia Wright.
I'm Jason Kern with Sports Watch.
And with Stormwatch, I'm Mackenzie Cox.
Be sure to keep up with us on our socials and tune in tomorrow at 5. NewsWatch Ole Miss, where we keep it live and keep it local.
Ooh. You know,